all the ships at sea. You can hear us on the American Forces Radio Network. As always, shout out to our brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces. We love you. We also love the Day Trader Trio right there live and in person. Little TTT. Back here at the bar, it's Costas, Maribor Godwin, and Sully.
Dr. John Yu, a surgical neuro-oncology director at Cedars-Sinai, is our also professor of neurosurgery, CEO of Kairos Pharma, stock symbol KAPA. He's been on the program in the past. Really, really interesting. I know they had to take a break from exposure and PR for a while just because of something they were doing for the public company there. But we have to talk about their therapies because they are indeed reimagining cancer treatment. John, welcome back, sir. We're hoping to hear a great update from you. What's going on?
Thank you. Great to see you guys again. Thanks for having me back.
Sure.
Well, we've been working hard on this acquisition of some assets of Kellen Therapeutics, which is an OrbiMed company. And OrbiMed, as you know, is one of the largest healthcare funds in the U.S. with over 17 billion assets under management. And what we're planning to do is bringing in an asset that reverses resistance in lung cancer when patients go on EGFR inhibitors. And what this does is it targets a protein called c-Met, and that reverses the resistance that patients develop to these other drugs in lung cancer. And I think that's important because it expands our runway of targeting resistance in cancer, and that's what we're about as a company. Is, there are a lot of drugs that are very effective for cancer, but each one of them become ineffective over time. And so we want to expand that runway, increase the efficacy of these drugs. And so CL741 is one of these drugs that we are testing, that we will be testing to do this. And what they saw in us is a great advantage in our academic consortium, or a group of academic hospitals at Cedars-Sinai, the Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, and Stanford, and a few other clinics that have joined forces together to do these clinical trials together. And it increases the efficiency of the trials, it decreases the costs, and I think that's what OrbiMed sees in our company, and sees a future in their therapeutics as they develop them for clinical trials, and hopefully through Kairos Pharma going forward. So yeah, we think it's a very, very, very bright development for the company, and something that will stabilize us in having a healthcare fund in the cap table and behind us, and moving forward with some very promising technologies.
Dr. John Yu is the CEO of Kairos Pharma, ticker symbol KAPA. Dr. Yu, always great to have you back on the show. Thanks again. Any new updates with the phase 2, the prostate cancer, the ENV105?
Yeah, so that's enrolling as we speak. We're going to make a couple of changes to that to increase enrollment. And we should be reporting some interim results in the near future, as well as our phase 1 trial in lung cancer that we'll be reporting on some safety results as well going forward. So, so all of these are going forward as we speak, and we're excited about the results as they come in.
John, obviously, biotech has taken a turn for the better. You guys have had a rough 3 years in terms of, not you personally, but the whole biopharma, biospace. Had a tough 3 years in terms of raising capital and so on and so forth. How's your runway getting you to the next phase? And is the JP Morgan comment that doors are going to be opening for more capital, is that coming true for this year?
I think that's certainly coming true, especially for us, and with our connection with OrbiMed. I think that will be a wellspring for funding going forward. It has been tough, but you have to weather these storms, and the way we've weathered it is because our burn is quite low for a public company, and so that's allowed us to keep going and to go strong. And we're doing these trials for a lot less than other companies because of our academic connection with Cedars-Sinai and this consortium of other large academic facilities. So,
well, I mean, and not to interrupt, but what's interesting there is it takes a different type of investor to invest in biotech. This is a long soak, so to speak, to use a fishing term. It's almost like a venture investment where you're not going to be liquid, but when you do hit that home run, which is why there's checks and balances along the way. It's a total different type of investment. So that's why other areas have seen some success with investment capital the last couple of years, and it's nice to see the biopharma space finally get a push because we need therapies like this.
Absolutely, and and it's not just shares and prices and cap tables.
Right.
It's human lives, and oftentimes it hits very close to home with our relatives and family, getting cancers as well. So we know how important this work is, and so it makes a big difference every day what we do.
Yes, Dr. Yu, along those lines, I was going to say thank you for what you're doing because I have personally been struck by it, and I know probably everyone here has had lost somebody to cancer. So it's surprising to me that more people aren't wanting to fund what you're doing because it's so important. But I wanted to ask you about, you have the lung cancer treatment and the prostate cancer. So when you are focusing on a particular cancer, then is it the thought that you're going to expand to other cancers along the way once you reach the point where you're happy with the efficacy on the certain type of cancer?
Yeah, so I think that is our strategy, is to target these two cancers, prostate cancer and lung cancer, which are huge populations to begin with. But we've also shown that the therapy is relevant in breast cancer and colon cancer, other very large, widespread cancers. So our strategy is to go one by one and hit them and to move forward and show that this technology works for widespread cancers.
Dr. John Yu is the CEO of Kairos Pharma, ticker symbol KAPA.
The interesting part of this is that looking at that FDA grid, you have a lot of therapies in there, and it seems like you've added a number. Is this something that during research pops up, or is this just you find a need and try to fill it as you're going along? Because obviously you start off going for one or two tracks to try to figure out what these therapies are going to be, and then suddenly you've got 10 or 11 of them up there now. Is that a constant? Is that grid constantly building? And that's got to be a nice surprise for you when it does.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things. One is that we're developing these therapies in the lab, and when they find promise, we're translating them into clinical therapies and getting them out there in clinical trials. One benefit for a company is that it expands our shots on goal, so that if one doesn't reach the finish line, then another one will. And they're all interrelated therapies. They all target resistance or immune suppression, both which are very difficult problems that cancer generates and uses to fight against the therapies that we throw at it. So, we think cancer never sleeps. It's always developing new ways of outrunning our therapies. And so, we want to work tirelessly too, to develop these therapies against this very difficult cancer to control.
Dr. Yu, it's always great to have you on the show. Great to catch up with you as well. As Mary said,
he's coming back. I'm going to make him come on a regular basis again. He's got to be down to San Diego as well.
Can't swing a stick without hitting someone affected by cancer. Dr. John Yu is trying to change that. CEO Kairos Pharma, KAPA is their ticker symbol. All right, keep it here. Much more coming your way next. Don't go anywhere as the Big Biz Show rolls on.